Hi everyone, my name is Michaela Cradafil. I'm a research biologist at Cascadia Research Collective, and I'm also a PhD candidate at Oregon State University's Marine Mammal Institute, where I am sitting right now. And much of my PhD work and my work at Cascadia more broadly has been on the movement ecology of false killer whales, and what I mean by that is just understanding what factors influence where they go. And a primary theme of my research and what we're interested in for false killer whales is how both the physical environment, so the ocean conditions or the habitat that they exist in, and also the social environment, so their social group that they're a part of or who they're sharing the same space with, influences where they go. They're strongly social animals that live in these long-term stable groups, and they cooperatively hunt, and so the social aspect is going to play a pretty important role in where they go. And this upcoming field project off Lanai is going to hopefully help us better answer this question for false killer whales. One of the main goals is to put some tags out on the main Hawaiian Islands insular population. This population spends most of their time in the nearshore regions of the Hawaiian Islands, and from long-term photo identification data and social network analyses, so think of Facebook for false killer whales, we know that there's 4 stable social groups, or what we call clusters, of family members, and think of your buddies essentially. And from tag data, we're finding that these social clusters have different core areas or core ranges of where they spend their time. So one of the main goals of this project is to get more tags out on one group we call Cluster 4, and some research from my PhD that I'm working on right now suggests that Cluster 4 is a bit of a special flower in terms of their space use, and they have a more restricted spatial range. They also have a more diverse dietary niche. Getting some more tracks on Cluster 4 to increase our sample size and see how special of a flower they are will be really valuable. And this animation here that Danny made is kind of showing an example of how special Cluster 4 is. And this is one of my favorite chunks of data because you can clearly see how these groups are spatially partitioning or separating themselves throughout the range. There is a brief moment where they come together off of Molokai, but otherwise they're using different parts of their range, so they're kind of separating themselves and separating their resources. And within Cluster 4, those 3 individuals, they're moving very cohesively, they're right on top of each other, and that makes sense because they have to cooperate and share the same space in order to reinforce those social bonds. So super interesting, at least to me, and hopefully we'll get some more data like this in the coming weeks.